Utah, and we have a lot of other very high representatives from Utah, at least mostly from Utah. And we're doing something very dramatic and very important for the people of Utah and the people of our country, because many people use it. We're terminating certain monuments. They call it monuments, not the ones we have outside, but these are large, thousands of acres. It's a total of almost 3 million acres, and we're going to be discussing it. But in fact, I think we'll start discussing it right now before I sign. After that, we're going to be signing 2 documents that are close to 1.5 million acres each. And Governor, do you want to say a few words about what we're doing and explain it to the press?
Yeah, well, thank you, Mr. President. This is a big day for Utah. The president did something very similar several years ago during his first term. Of course, the monuments were re-expanded under the past administration, and this matters to Utah. We believe that under the Antiquities Act, it's very clear that these monument designations are supposed to be the smallest area possible to protect the antiquities, and these multi-million acre monuments that are bigger than the state of Delaware certainly do not fit that designation. Now, we definitely care about protecting these antiquities, and will continue to do so. The problem is with these giant monument designations, there are no resources that come with those. We have 9 monuments in Utah. 7 of them are around 700 acres to 7,000 acres. That's what this was meant to be, not millions of acres as what happened with Grand Staircase-Escalante and Bears Ears. And so we're grateful that the president has made a determination that we need to right-size these monuments. Again, this does not remove the other protections that already exist in those areas, just making the monuments more manageable so that we have the resources necessary to continue to protect these antiquities. I know we have the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior here with us. Kay, is there anything you'd like to add?
I'll just say the Antiquities Act is 120 years old, but the first monument that was created was only 1,200 acres. So if you think about it, since then, President Clinton, President Obama, and President Biden have increased the acreage in the state of Utah and locked those acres up. Over 3 million acres.
For nobody to use, right? You
Nobody
can't do anything. You can't go hunting. You can't go fishing. You can't do anything. You can virtually not even walk on it.
That's exactly right, sir. So
Right.
you were remedying that today.
I remember. No, I do remember. I have a great memory.
And Mr. President, I know Senator
And this
Lee's
is actually better than the first time. Oh, we're doing
It is better. Yeah, Senator Lee's been very involved, I know, in conversing with you.
Good. That's true. Mike, go ahead.
Smallest area compatible with the objects to be protected. That's always been the standard under the Antiquities Act. President Biden, President Clinton, and President Obama overlooked that standard. President Trump is fixing it today.
Thanks, Mike. You had something to say. I thought that was very important.
Celeste. Well, I think it's worth noting for the press in the room that both of these monuments were created over the unanimous opposition of Utah's federal delegation, our governors, county commissioners, the locals who are worried about losing multiple uses on these federal lands. And we're standing here with the governor, the Speaker of the Utah House, the entire Utah federal delegation supporting a president listening to the people of Utah and saying, we know you value this land, you want it used for multiple use and not locked up. And so this is a very different process than how the monuments were created.
Well, they took the land away from the people, quite honestly. It was ridiculous. And I remember Orrin Hatch, before he passed away, he was a great guy. He was a friend of mine, and he felt so strongly about this. And we signed, and then they terminated it after they got in office, which was crazy. And we're putting it back, but we're actually giving more than we did the first time back to the people of Utah. Please, go ahead.
Couldn't have said it better than Representative.
May I point
Yes,
something
please.
out? I think people don't understand Utah is over 2/3 owned by the federal government. These counties where these monuments are at are over 90% federal land. When people make decisions about this 2,000 miles away, you can see how that steps on the local people who only control about 5 or 10% of the land with local government. So not only do you have all these dynamics, you have an economy. You can't pave roads, you can't build schools, you can't pay fire people, police department, because of this dynamic of 95% federal lands. The other part of that is Utahns will tell you they love these lands. They manage them better than people 2,000 miles away. So if this is about good management, it really should be done in Utah by people who have demonstrated over decades and decades and decades and generations that they're good managers of this land.
Great job, well said. Anybody? No? You're leaving? I can't believe it.
Very, very excited.
I can't believe it. You're excited? Where are you going from here?
Well, can I say this first of all? We sat down with the previous administration and said, then we'll just work this out, so we don't have to keep going back and forth. Just work
Right,
with us.
right.
And we promised if we didn't, that once we have the power, we're going to make sure that the people's voices are heard. So thank you for helping us keep our promise.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the last administration did not understand that this would happen one day. So thank you so much.
Great honor. Let's sign. This is very nice. I'm very happy about this. And better than the first time. Okay, here's number one. Okay, number two. Here you go, Bill.
Thank you.
Almost 3 million acres. Going to be well taken care of now. Okay. Penn, who should I give this to? Huh? Maybe the governor's representative, right? And Mike, how about taking one, right?
Thank you.
So, we've done something that was, I think, very desperately needed. It was very unfair to the people of Utah. And now fairness has been brought back. It's going to be better taken care of. And they'll be able to use it a little bit. So there's something very nice about that. Okay.
Thank you,
There
Mr.
go.
President.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions about this, first of all, most importantly? Anybody want to talk about this?
I've got one
Yeah,
on
Jeff, go
Iran.
ahead.
I've got one on Iran too, but I'll start with this. Just you said that 70% of the land was federal. Was there any other way to turn this around? How is it that I guess my question is how did it get there if it's a state?
Go ahead. You want to discuss that, please?
The land ownership is what it is, but under the Antiquities Act, 120 years ago, Congress made the decision to give presidents the power to designate by executive proclamation certain land as monument. It was supposed to be the smallest area compatible with the objects to be protected in connection with that. Now, initially, as the Deputy Secretary of the Interior explained a minute ago, that meant a few hundred, maybe 1,000 or 2 acres at the most. These are 3 million acres. As I explained to President Biden,